15 years ago, the Japanese spacecraft Kaguya was drifting silently over the Marius Hills, a volcanic region of the moon that has been dead for billions of years. Its mission was routine: map the surface, scan the craters, and catalog the barren landscape. But then, the sensors picked up something that shouldn't have been there. Among the millions of impact craters that scar the lunar face, scars left by violence and collision, there was one mark that was different. It wasn't a bowl shape, it wasn't a shadow cast by a mountain, it was a void, a perfect pitch black circle that seemed to punch straight through the crust and into the darkness below. At first, Mission Control thought it might be a glitch or a trick of the light, but as the probe circled back and adjusted its angle, the truth became undeniable. This wasn't a crater made by an asteroid, it was a skylight, a collapsed roof. And it was opening the door to a world we had never seen before. Since that day, we have found over 200 of these dark pits. They are scattered across the lunar surface like secret entrances, waiting for something or someone to descend. And what lies at the bottom of those pits is not just rock and dust. It is the single greatest opportunity humanity has ever had to survive away from Earth. It is the difference between visiting the stars and living among them. Before we descend into the dark, look down. If that subscribe button is still red, click it right now. We explore the universe's darkest secrets every day, and you don't want the algorithm to hide the next discovery from you. To understand why these holes are so valuable, you have to look back to a time when the moon was alive. Today, we see a cold, gray rock, but 3 billion years ago, the moon was a chaotic ocean of fire. Massive rivers of lava, far larger than anything on Earth, flowed across the surface. As the top layer of these rivers was exposed to the vacuum of space, it cooled instantly, forming a thick, hardened crust. But beneath that roof, the lava kept flowing, insulating itself, carving out massive, high-speed underground highways. When the volcanoes finally died and the eruption stopped, the lava drained away, leaving behind empty tunnels. On Earth, we have these structures too. We call them lava tubes. You can walk through them in Hawaii, Iceland, or the Canary Islands. But on Earth, gravity is a relentless crusher. It pulls down on the roof, limiting how wide these tubes can grow before they collapse under their own weight. The moon is different. With gravity only 1/6 of our own, the rules of engineering change. The lunar tubes didn't just stay open, they grew to impossible sizes. Current mathematical models suggest these tunnels could be kilometers wide. To put that in perspective, you could fit the entire city of Philadelphia inside a single lunar tube. You could fly a jumbo jet through the center without its wings touching the walls. These aren't just caves. They are hollow continents buried beneath the surface. Huge subterranean cathedrals that have remained stable and silent for eons. This discovery changes everything because right now, space exploration has a fatal flaw. The moon is trying to kill us. We romanticize the lunar surface, but the reality is a nightmare for biological life. Without an atmosphere, there is no shield. Stand on the surface during the lunar day, and the temperature boils you at 250 degrees Fahrenheit. When the sun sets, it plunges instantly to minus 208 degrees. This isn't just a problem for humans, it destroys machines. Batteries die, lubricants freeze, and metals shatter. Then there is the radiation. Cosmic rays and solar wind bombard the surface constantly. A single solar flare could deliver a lethal dose of radiation to an astronaut in minutes. Even without a flare, the background radiation is enough to shatter DNA over time. And even if you survive the radiation, you have to deal with micrometeorites, tiny rocks traveling faster than bullets that rain down on the surface, capable of shredding a pressurized suit instantly. To build a base on the surface, we would have to bring heavy, expensive shielding from Earth. We would be living in thick, windowless bunkers, burying ourselves under piles of lunar dirt just to survive the night. But down in the pits, the game changes completely. Inside a lava tube, you are shielded by 50 to 100 meters of solid basalt rock. The radiation drops to safe levels immediately. The micrometeorites can't reach you. But the most shocking discovery came from the thermal data. While the surface swings wildly between boiling and freezing, inside the tubes the temperature remains steady. In some pits, it hovers around a mild 63 degrees Fahrenheit, roughly 17 degrees Celsius. That is spring weather. This stability is the holy grail of space colonization. It means you wouldn't need massive heaters to survive the 2-week-long lunar night. You wouldn't need heavy cooling systems for the day. You wouldn't need lead-lined walls. The moon has already built the base for us. Nature has done the heavy lifting. We just have to move in. This potential has triggered a quiet but intense shift in global politics. The space race of the 1960s was about a flag and a footprint. It was a sprint. The new race is a marathon. It is about territory and permanence. China has emerged as a titan in this arena. Their space program has moved with methodical, terrifying speed. While the West hesitated, China built the Tiangong space station. They landed rovers on the dark side of the moon, something no other nation had ever done. Now their sights are set on 2030. The China Manned Space Agency isn't just planning a visit, they are planning a residence. They have publicly identified these lava tube skylights as strategic assets. Their logic is sound. Whoever controls the safest, most stable environments on this moon controls the future of the lunar economy. Imagine a Chinese research outpost situated inside the Mare Tranquillitatis pit. It would be immune to the risks that plague surface bases. It could expand indefinitely, tapping into the tube's length. While other nations struggle to keep their surface habitats from freezing or overheating, a base inside a tube could focus entirely on mining, research, and expansion. This is why the rhetoric has shifted. The moon is no longer a commons for mankind, it is a strategic high ground. And right now, the race to claim the underground is gaining speed. But claiming these tubes is easier said than done. The very thing that makes them safe, their depth and isolation, makes them incredibly dangerous to explore. We cannot simply lower an astronaut on a rope and hope for the best. The skylights are hundreds of meters deep. The floor is likely covered in massive boulders, debris from the roof collapse, and razor-sharp dust that hasn't moved in an aeon. Furthermore, there is the problem of darkness. Sunlight has not touched the floor of these caves since the dawn of the solar system. And perhaps the biggest challenge is communication. Radio waves do not travel through rock. Once a rover descends into the pit, it is cut off from Earth. It cannot be joystick controlled by a human in Houston or Beijing. To solve this, space agencies are designing a new breed of explorer. These aren't the slow, heavy rovers we sent to Mars. These are agile, autonomous machines. Engineers are developing cliffhanger robots that can rappel down the sheer walls of the pit, scanning the layers of rock as they descend. Others are designing spherical bots, equipped with LiDAR and thermal cameras capable of rolling through the darkness, mapping the structural integrity of the tunnels in 3D. They have to answer the critical questions. Is the roof stable? Is the floor flat? Are there blocked passages? These robots must be smart enough to make their own decisions, map the hazards, and return to the skylight to beam their data back up to the rim. Until these machines send back the all clear, no human can enter. We are standing at the threshold of a massive dark room, and we are just now building the flashlight. If the robots succeed, and if we can establish that first foothold, the implications are staggering. We aren't just talking about shelter, we are talking about resources. Scientists believe that these tubes could act as cold traps. Over billions of years, water vapor and other volatiles may have migrated underground and frozen in the eternal darkness. If we find water ice inside these caves, the economics of space travel change overnight. Water is heavy, launching it from Earth is prohibitively expensive. But if you can mine it on the moon, you have everything. You have water to drink, you have oxygen to breathe, and most importantly, you can split the water into hydrogen and oxygen to create rocket fuel. Suddenly, a lava tube base becomes a gas station. It becomes a shipyard. It becomes the launch pad for missions to Mars and beyond. There is also the potential for helium-3, a rare isotope carried by solar winds that could be trapped in the lunar regolith. If harvested, it could fuel the next generation of clean fusion reactors back on Earth. The nation that controls these resources controls the energy market of the future. But beyond the resources, the politics, and the science, there is something deeply, almost hauntingly human about this journey. 50,000 years ago, our ancestors looked out at a terrifying, hostile world. It was a world of predators, freezing storms, and blistering heat. They were vulnerable. To survive, they went underground. They found caves. Inside those caves, they found the safety to build the first fires, to paint the first art, and to dream up the first civilizations. For millennia, we have looked up at the moon and seen a cold, dead light. We thought our future lay in gleaming glass domes and high-tech cities on the surface. But it turns out, the path forward is a circle. Now we face a new hostile wilderness, the vacuum of space. And just like before, the key to our survival isn't to conquer the elements, but to find shelter from them. We are returning to the caves, not to hide, but to be reborn as a multi-planetary species. The door is open. The sanctuary is waiting beneath the gray dust. The only question left is, who will be the first to step into the dark? The race for the lunar underground is just beginning, and the technology is evolving every single day. If you want to follow this journey and understand the future of human expansion, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. The future is closer than you think.